Hello? Hello? Yes, I hope you can hear me clearly. Notepad. Okay, so today is 7th of November 2018, and we are going to have a webinar for the next 30 to 45 minutes. So what we have now, we have this. Here's the topic which we are going to look at. We are just going to look at how we can possibly trade the aftermath of the US elections, of the US midterm elections, as a forex trader. So this does not only apply to forex traders, you can also trade it if you are doing stocks. So there's an overview here which says that you learn the key to fundamental news, and then fundamental news such as the US elections, and then we'll start by first giving an overview of what the US midterm election actually means, and then we'll also look at how we can use that as a forex trader. So there are certain things we need to say before we start. That we need to define first of all what is fundamental news. So that's something we need to write down. We need to the very first thing is that we need to define what is fundamental analysis, and then we need to say how it's related to the current situation, which is the current political situation in the United States, how it's related to the current political situation, political situation in the United States, and that situation is just the midterm, the outcome of the US midterm elections. So there's something which I need to make clear here, that this is not going to be a political midterm election. This is not going to be a political webinar. We are not going to talk about politics in this, but we want to look at it from this point of view, where we need to understand first of all how politics relates to what forex, and how it relates to stocks market. So there's something we need to say, that in my own opinion, this was what I said, that this midterm election have no effect so much in the forex market. As you can see, you look at the chart now, there's not much happening other than the crash which you saw earlier today on the US dollar index. There is not much happening on this one. Just a second here, we load these charts. Show all. We drag that there. Hide all. So on this one, you should load Euro USD. If you have a news that relates to these two, we have a news that relates to earnings, and then it also relates to interest rates. Then that's what to trade. I don't this, like when was this? A few days ago, I actually said that these midterm elections will not have much effect on the market, but I said that you should expect some knee-jerk reactions to the outcome. So far earlier today, it was clear that there was a difference. There was some volatility earlier today, and then there was some mixed outcome. What we expected actually did not happen like that, because the GOP, they had some strength and they still control the Senate. So we expect the lower house, now that is being controlled by the Democrats, we expect Trump to find it really hard to control the market. So we don't want to focus so much on politics. Right now we're not going to focus on politics. We want to focus on anything that deals with the chart and anything that deals with interest rates and then earnings, interest rates and earnings. And the first one, so we've not defined this. We want to look at it, then we want to look at how it relates to politics, and then we also want to look at how the political outcome, is it really worth trading? Do we have to trade it? If you have trade politics, do we have to trade politics? Just a second. So from what we wrote from the advertisement, from the announcement which we had, we actually said that we are going to look at the first thing, how we wanted to look at how this one, sorry, we'll first start by giving an overview of what these elections means, and then we also look at how we can use that to gain an edge in the foreign market. So there's something which I picked online, and it says that midterm elections take place, not surprisingly, in the middle of the president's 4-year term. The US senators are elected to 6-year terms, which with roughly like 33 senators up for election every 2 years, and then every US representative are elected 2 years terms, and as a result every seat in the House of Representatives was up for grabs yesterday. That was some hours ago. So we want to see what actually was at stake when this happened. There's something in the US which we need to say. We need to state it here, that the presidential party tends to lose congressional seats in midterm elections. That means that after being elected to serve the 4 years, after every 2 years of the 4 years, there's a re-election, and then it tends to lose congressional seats. So that is exactly what we expected, and we said that should this happen, should this hold true, that the president has lost some congressional seats as it has done now, then we expect that the president should find it very hard enacting some of its policies which he said he was supposed to enact when he was being inaugurated. So there's something here, there's a chart which I grabbed online. It's called a midterm circle. That is, like, it says that every time a president is elected, the euro tends to gain after sometimes until the midterm election, and then it loses again. So we can see from this chart that from 2006, when the president came in power, this euro gained significantly, but then it declined, and then it gained also, and then declined after this next president. Then it gained also, and then it lost, then gained also, and then it lost. Then something happened interesting, that from 2014 to 2016 it didn't happen the same way. Like there was no clear move up, and then there was no this retracement. So normally this circle happens when the president has lost seats during the midterm elections, but then it didn't happen between 2014 and 2016. The price went, actually it consolidated, then the circle resumed normally from 2016 to now 2018. There was this move up, and then it came down to the lower side. So what do we expect this year, now that this time when the mid election has been performed, and then the same thing has happened, that the president has lost congressional seats in the midterm elections? What do we expect? We expect euro to rise up. Just a second. This is what we expect. Something like this. Sorry, a second. Between 2018 to 2020, we actually expect something like this. If this was to be extended, we expect a move up, this should be green, then you also expect a move down, something like this. So until the next mid-election, this you expect euro to be rising upwards, then it should plunge down after some times. So far this is what appears to be happening on euro USD. Sorry, so far let me close this first, we don't need it actually. This is what we have seen happening on Euro USD. We have seen this massive rise in price. We've seen that from earlier today, it actually tried coming down, and now it has resumed to the upper side. Earlier morning today, there was this drop to the lower side, then it has gained significantly. So if we work by politics now, then it means that this rule of thumb has actually played some role. And the rule says that the president's party tend to lose congregational seats in the midterm election. So what we expect is simple. Look at it from the monthly point of view. We actually expect a move upwards like that until the next midterm, and then it should crash down something like that. This is what we expect. Actually expect a move upwards, and then you also expect a move to the lower side. So if you want to trade politics on this one, the best you should do, you should be well conversant with this circle, that in every time a president is selected, the price tends to gain value. Every mid-election, price tends to go up, then it comes down, then the circle continues, and that circle only did not hold between 2014 and 2016. Other times it was holding, and we still expect to hold even now. The price should continue upwards, and then before proceeding to the lower side. So there's something we need to say. Why I'm completely against politics. This which I said here, that is politics worth trading? My answer is simple. No. I also say yes. So what this means is simple. What this means is simple, that as much as politics is not the best thing to trade, as long as you're a trader, you can still trade, especially if it's directed towards certain pairs, like certain index. Like if we have this index here, assuming I'm looking at SP 500, hide all. Sorry, 100 somewhere here. SP 500 should be here. SP 500 is not showing up, so we have to load it first. Then we delete all this, all that. So this is basically just a group of companies in the United States that have come together. So if there's a news that concerns this index, then I'll pretty much be sure to check it. But then if the news is general, like any politics, then people will tend to forget about it after some times. Like now, we saw that there was this result that came out that the Democrats have actually taken some seats, but then we don't see the same move happening. We don't see a real active move happening. Instead, we are seeing the USD losing. The USD is losing as it is. We see the USD losing, and then we see euro gaining just as we planned, and then we expect to resume back to normal just after some days. So what is happening at the moment is basically not politics. I know somebody may be thinking that, oh, the price of euro is going up, so that's no, it's not politics. What is happening is the fear. We've had issues this year alone. We've had a lot of issues, like from the Australian Prime Minister, which was getting ousted, who got ousted, and then there are also several trade questions concerning the independence of Turkey, and then there was also high stakes negotiation concerning NAFTA and Brexit. So all this summed up, this could be the reason why euro was falling some few months ago. This case here, in October we saw this euro falling. Hide all that. October, this crash, despite the fact that we expected the price to continue upwards. We actually drew a line here. It's not there. We had our line, resistance line at this point 1.1460. we had our line here, and then we said that unless the price is below this line, we were supposed to be looking for a buy position. We were supposed to actually buy it upwards, but then there was this crash to the lower side. Somebody may say that this was due to the impending politics, which now is over. So personally, this was not because of politics. This was because of what was happening. There was a lot of things. We had Brexit, there was this NAFTA negotiation, and then we also have other issues other than that, and then there was this issue with the Prime Minister of Britain. So you look at it from that point, then we put politics aside. Personally, I'll not advocate one looks for politics to trade, but then if it's directed on one index, like in this case, if it directs on one symbol, then that can be good for trading. So the result remains the same. We expect to see those moves which we are currently seeing. We are seeing, you look at it, Euro USD. Why is Euro USD here? We see this intense move to the upper side. There's a big crash early morning, then it rose up, came down, and then it has now gone to the upper side. So if I'm to trade this one, I'm not trading it because the news actually supports it, the political news actually supports it. No, I'll trade it because of the other economic developments, like interest rates. Anything dealing with interest rates, I'll trade it. But then if it is just pure politics, then there is nothing to be added on it. We have this. Something significant happened during this news. We actually had price rising beyond this line, which is a key level 14.55, somewhere here. The price went above it, and as we said, as long as the price is beyond this one, we still expect a move upwards. So on Euro USD, based on what we know, not political news, but then that level has been broken, I need to raise something. We expect a move further, even higher. We expect a move further, even higher, further upwards. So what we want to do now is simple. We want to now check at other pairs, how actually this news affected other pairs. We see if we have any other trade other than any other clear indication, and we'll start off with the Euro USD, GBP USD, sorry, and then we also look at Euro GBP. Euro GBP USD should be here. GBP USD daily, and then we also look at Euro GBP. Sorry. Look at Euro GBP. So you can see on this one that Euro GBP is the quote pair, and then this is the first one. Then you have GBP USD, which we looked at, is here. Should be there. Euro GBP. Delete this. GBP USD, actually, not Euro GBP. GBP USD. So we want to see how this has affected everything in the market at the moment. We want to see how this news has actually played some role here. So you can remember previously we actually said we're supposed to sell from this point. We said we're supposed to sell from somewhere within this place, 1.26 something, and then also this zone. And we said that you're supposed to sell from this point. You're supposed to sell from somewhere around 1.104, somewhere here. So far as it looks on this chart, the price is already beyond where you're supposed to sell. So this could just be a knee jerk, and we expect the market to resume normally and should head downwards in the long run. So there's something that I need to say, that as long as this line remains intact, we have this line here, this zone, the one I'm drawing on the chart now, we expect a move to the lower side. So unless certain things happen, like other news, we hear news concerning Brexit and things like that, or maybe any news other than politics, then we are going to trade. But then other than those, there's nothing we are doing. We still expect a sell from this zone. We'll sell it from 1.26, this line. Sorry, let's see which line was that. 1.326889. So far this crash, and then the price proceeded down last month ahead of several news, and now we are upward. So we expected the price to continue downward, but then somehow it's retreating to the upper side. We are still selling on this unless the price comes above this place, something like this. So the key lines you to look for here are these ones. Look for this line, and then also look for a break below the lower line. These are the two main lines we are looking at. And then we also have GBP/USD. So these two pairs are supposed to move opposite, exactly opposite. While we are looking at a sell on Euro GBP, we are actually supposed to be looking for a buy on this one. So in this case, this is a buy. Euro GBP is a buy. We have a buy from this point. We have about this massive pin bar pointing upwards, but then the price proceeded down. So we're supposed to buy this one. That means we're supposed to sell the next one, which is Euro GBP/USD. So what do you expect Euro GBP? We need to write that Euro GBP, we are looking for a possible buy from this line, from this support 0.87397. sorry 0.87397. This is where we're going to buy it from. We want the price to clearly close within this place, then we'll buy it upwards with our target towards this one. This is the next clear resistance we are seeing on the chart. So notice something here, that despite the current political situation, we are not focusing on that much. We are still on the charts. But then if we hear any news concerning interest rates, any impending news about interest rates, or any news concerning earnings, then that is what we'll incorporate on this chart. Basically, both technical and fundamental analysis should show us the same thing. If we are seeing a buy on this one, then the same buy should be supported by some fundamental news somewhere. So we can't just buy immediately because something has happened, there's a news that has just come up. No, whatever is happening now is a result of news that happened several months ago, or the fear of what will happen in the future because of some news which has not happened now. So you will find that like in this case, we have this sell here. There is this massive drop. This price came up, then it went down and closed way below where it opened. This thing did not happen once. It may have happened maybe because of the fear that there was an impending election, or it could have happened because of some news that was released some years back. It's not instantly. The news does not take effect. You could see maybe some knee-jerk, some reaction at the moment, but then those are reactions. The main thing happens after several months. So like now, this news that has just been released, with the one we are looking at, the US Midterm Elections, the effect will not be seen now, but it will be there after several months. You'll see the effect after several months. So that's why we don't focus so much on it. Instead, we focus on things to do with interest rates and other developments. So on this what we expect, we are actually looking for a sell from this point, from this upper line, and then should go up to this place, and then a pair that moves opposite, which is Euro GBP, we are looking for a buy from this line, here, 0.87249, from this line. So we go to the next one. We want to also to look at other two pairs to see if we have any useful information from them. That is USD JPY and then other JPY crosses. USD JPY. Sorry, we need to hide all of this. USD JPY should be here. CAD. USD CAD. Hide all. So you can see USD CAD. There's this pin bar which was there last week. We have this pin bar pointing upwards, but then nothing much has happened. The price actually went up and then now it is proceeding to the lower side. So following this news, we still expect the price to proceed downwards on this one. We expect the USD any pair. Sorry, this is GBP Audi. That is not USD. Show all. Should be that one. Correct. So you can see that this is actually forming a very good sell here. There's this resistance line, resistance line. So this line is shielding the upper side. As long as this is holding the way it is, we expect the price to go down. So this week and coming next week, this week and possibly by next week, we still expect further moves to the lower side on every pair where USD is the main one. We expect it to move downwards. Actually, there should be a move like this downwards. Then also on this one, we expect a move to the lower side. Then on USD JPY, we also expect a move downwards like this. Then on the opposite one, which is Euro USD, we actually expect a move upwards. Then we need to check Euro JPY. There could be something useful. Euro JPY, because Euro is the first one, we expect a move upwards come next week. But then we have a resistance that is shielding the upper side. We have this line here being a clear resistance. There is this resistance line, then there's a break below the same place, then price should come back to the same place before proceeding to the lower side. So we actually are waiting for a break above this line like that. Then there should be a retracement before we proceed upwards towards this resistance line. So if you can notice, from everything we've said here, we are actually not focusing so much on politics. We are not focusing so much on what's happening politically. We are basically looking at the chart because we believe that the news should show us the same thing that is happening on the chart. So sometimes there could be some delays. You could hear news and then you see a delay on the chart, but then that does not mean that the charts are wrong. No, it will reflect, but after some times. So from what has happened, what we'll explain now is we expect the price to proceed. If there's any euro pair, where euro being the base currency, we expect a move upwards. But then if we have USD being the base currency on any pair, then we expect a move to the lower side. And that we've tried illustrating that on certain pairs, like in this case. But then watch out for these key lines. We can't ignore them. We have this resistance, then we also have the upper resistance line. So we also cannot ignore those ones. We cannot ignore those ones. So that should be enough for today. My main point here being that we don't focus so much on the outcome of politics. Instead, our interest should be on economic developments, like any news that concerns earnings and interest rates, then that is what we are going to look at. Like if I'm seeing a trade here, then there's a news supporting it, and the news concerns interest rates and earnings, then that's what I'm going to do. But as long as it's politics, then I'm not doing anything. It's better to stand aside during politics than to try trading politics. Anything could happen. Like there's this case where when the current president was being elected, the current US president was being elected, we actually thought that the US dollar could lose a lot. But then it appeared to happen like that temporarily before eventually gaining intensely. So we don't want to work with politics at the moment, but then if news concerns interest rates and earnings, then that is what we are going to trade. So that should be enough for now. We meet again next week the same time. Thank you very much.